raise your right hand and say,
Help me God.
Is it helped, Miss?
Mrs. Pieters, although you are talking to the chairperson, sir, please look at him. And then if you can raise your voice so that we can hear you.
Sure. Good morning.
Mrs. Pieters.
Good morning, Ms. Pieters.
Just there's a file in front of you. That file is got statements. Can you look at what is put as number 29?
On a lighter note, Mr. Noche, this is one witness who appears quite happy to be here.
From the beginning, I could say she is very, very happy.
Yes. Thank you for coming to testify.
Also, she was telling me she's from Randfontein.
Oh.
The whole of Randfontein, as we speak, is on standstill. Shops have closed to watch her testifying.
Yes.
Mrs. Pieters, can I ask you to turn to page 72 of that? And then keep your finger there on page 72, and then go to.
You have told her you are referring to the black numbers for page.
Yes.
Okay.
And then go to page 78. There's a signature there on that page above the words Gina Pieters. Whose signature is that?
It's mine.
And you have looked at the document. Do you confirm that this is your affidavit?
Yes, I do.
Chair, can the affidavit of the witness be admitted as Exhibit T29 in bundle BOSASA 01?
The affidavit of Ms. Gina Pieters, appearing at page 72, who will be admitted and marked as Exhibit T29.
Mrs. Pieters, is it correct that you were the former professional assistant of Mr. Agrizzi, who has testified before this commission?
I was, yes.
What were your duties when you were working for Mr. Agrizzi?
Well, everything that a PA does, except take the children to school. That was not in my duties. And then I also coordinated the bid office, the tenders. We submitted tenders.
Now, in your affidavit, you have told, you have testified about preparing birthday hampers. Can you tell the commission about that?
Before that, do you confirm that, or rather, from when to when were you Mr. Agrizzi's PA?
From May 2004 until February 2017.
Okay, all right, thank you. Continue, Mr. Noche.
And in your affidavit, you deposed to the fact that you had prepared some birthday hampers. Can you tell the commission about that?
Yes, at some point in my tenure to Mr. Agrizzi, I was requested to send hampers to Ms. Nomvula Mokonyane and her PA, Sandy Thomas. I can, however, not recall the exact date, but I do have evidence that it was from 2010, definitely. It could have been before that as well, but I cannot locate any records to confirm that, unfortunately.
How did you interact? Did you interact directly with Mrs. Thomas or Mrs. Mokonyan?
Yes, I was. Mr. Agrizzi would ask me to send hampers, and I get hold of Sandy Thomas to get a hold of her physical address. I had to ask Mrs. Thomas where she would prefer the hampers to be sent to. And if I can recall correctly, she asked me not to send it to the office and gave me a home address. Then that was one occasion, and then a few months later, maybe a year later, I was asked to send hampers again. Thereafter, I saved the detail. When something became a regular occurrence, I would save the details on my phone with an address and the telephone number so that it's easier to contact the person.
Now, on page 73 of your affidavit of the record, in paragraph 6, you refer to there's an email that you sent. Can you tell the commission about that email?
Yes, that was 1 year when I was late in sending the hamper. Let me just check.
Just to help, is it correct that the email appears on page 83?
That's correct. That is the one in the occasion where I had forgotten and I ordered the hampers late. It was after the birthdays.
Just tell me first who the email came from, to whom it was addressed, on what date it was, and the time, and then read the email and then elaborate on it if you would like to.
Sure, the email was from me to our procurement head, Dudu Dube, her assistant, Estina Mariah, and the other procurement head, Arthur Hand, where I asked them to please assist with the two ladies' hampers to the value of 1,500 each. One was addressed to Minister Nombula and the other one to Sandy Thomas. And then I stated what they needed to write in the cards. Would you like me to read that?
Read
Just-
that, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, read that.
The one to Minister Nombula was, happy birthday, may the Lord bless you always, regards Gavin. And the one to Sandy Thomas, happy belated birthday, may the Lord bless you always, regards Angelo.
Now,
And then read the rest of the email there.
And then I wrote, please do not make any reference to BOSASA. Contact number for both parcels is Sandy Thomas.
Yeah, you don't have to
And
read the cell number.
Yes.
And then the last sentence.
And then I asked, if they can deliver this afternoon still, it will be great. Otherwise, not later than close of business tomorrow, please.
Okay, all right. Continue, Mr. Notch.
now, let's just go to at the top of the email. You say it's to Dube. Who was Dube?
Dudu Dube was the procurement, head of department for procurement.
We're in BOSASA.
Yes.
And then in Estina Mariah,
She was the assistant.
and then Arthur Hand.
He was also head of the department.
So all these people were within BOSASA.
Yes.
I see. Now, then you say in the email, there's a reference when you're reading the message on the card. It says, happy birthday, may the Lord bless you always, regards Gavin. Who is Gavin?
That is Mr. Gavin Watson.
And then the one for Mrs. Thomas says, happy belated birthday, may the Lord bless you always, regards Angelo. Who's Angelo?
That is Angelo Agrizzi.
Now, at the bottom, there is in capital letters, please do not make any reference to BOSASA. Why is that?
That is...
And whose idea was it?
Mr. Agrizzi used to ask me to do that when things were confidential and there was not to be any links made to BOSASA, preferably. So that is why that he would have asked me to do that, and that is why I put it there in bold capitals, so that it could not implicate them, link them in an untoward manner to BOSASA.
So it was his, Mr. Agrizzi's instruction that you should make sure that when they do the cards, they don't make any reference to BOSASA.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Now, I see at the top, I always struggle to read emails because they start with the latest and
Yes.
with the earlier one and then the latest. The latest there is from Innocentia Marai at 11:14. She sends this to Kobela Poshoko. Who's Kobela?
Kobela was also a stationary administrator in the procurement department.
And it says, hi Kobelo, for your attention. So she was referring your email to Kobelo.
Correct?
Yes. Now, there was an issue as to whether these were received. Mrs. Thomas says she couldn't remember whether they were delivered at her home. Did you receive any report that this could not be delivered?
No, I did not.
Now, when there's a problem about a request like this, problems about delivery or couldn't be delivered, Do you get a report back from the people you had sent?
Yes, and I'd like to add that the supplier was very reliable. At times when they could not locate the recipient, they would contact me. There was also weekend deliveries from time to time that the recipient was not available, that they reported to me.
Now, there's also in your affidavit about a hamper that was sent to Mrs. Thomas, and the email is on page 85 of the record. Can you take
Of bundle BOSASA 01,
Oh, of the
BOSASA
bundle.
bundle 01.
BOSASA bundle 01,
Yeah.
page 85. The email, where was it from?
It's from myself.
What can you tell the commission about that email? How did it come about that you sent such an email?
Please read it first, and then you can tell me more about it. Who it was to, who it was from, what date it was, what time, and read the contents, and then tell me how it came about.
The email was from myself on the 28th of November at 10:31. It was to Dudu Dube and Arthur Hand, and I CC'd Jacques van Sale. The email read, "Good day, Arthur, Dudu and Arthur. Trust you are well. In Essence's absence, I am not sure who to contact, so sorry for bugging you. Could you please kindly arrange for a ladies' hamper of 700 Rand to be delivered to Miss Sandy Thomas, and the address is listed, and a telephone number. Please treat us VIP." The card was to read, "Get well soon card. Dear Sandy, wishing you a speedy recovery and everything of the best. God bless, Angelo Agrizzi. If they can deliver today, it will be great. Otherwise, tomorrow morning, please. Thank you."
How did it come about that you sent that email?
Mr. Agrizzi called me and he said to me, "Sandy's not, she's in hospital. Please get hold of her and send her a parcel."
Okay.
And did you have any report that this could not be delivered, or
No,
there was a problem about it?
no.
Now, there's also an email which is attached again to BOSASA Bundle 1, page 88. Can you read that email and then explain to the commission how did it come about that you sent that email?
Okay, the email is also again from myself to Innocentia and Magdal Wilson. On Thursday, 23 September 2010 at 11:42, I wrote, "Dear Innocentia, can you please arrange for the attached order for delivery on Saturday? Please note that the words on the card should be exactly as I have stated on the card. Do not address it from BOSASA management, only Angelo. Thank you."
Now you refer there to an attached order. Look at BOSASA Bundle 1, page 87. There's something there called purchase order. What is that?
That is an official purchase order which we had to complete, and when we were ordering stuff so that it could be attached to the invoice in order that payments could be processed.
And I see there's a delivery address. Whose address is that?
Mrs. Sandy Thomas.
And then in the middle, on the purchase order details, what is written there? Can you read it for the record?
I wrote one lady's hamper containing primarily chocolates and then also some nuts, dried fruit, etc., and a thank you card. And inverted commas, I wrote, "Dear Sandy, your thoughtfulness is most appreciated. God bless, Angelo."
And who's Angelo you are referring to?
Angelo Agrizzi.
I see in your email on page 88 that you again state what we saw in the other email where you say, "Do not address it for BOSASA management, only Agrizzi."
That's correct.
Was it again to follow instructions that you shouldn't mention the name of BOSASA?
That is correct.
Now,
Did you have an understanding of why there seemed to have been an emphasis on the part of Mr. Agrizzi that when you sent these cards, there should be no reference to BOSASA.
Yes, my understanding was that it was not to compromise the individuals being in the positions that they were
Yes,
of high profile.
yes, okay, all right. Thank you.
Now,
Mr.
these
Luttrell.
hampers, birthday hampers, were this one occasion or did it happen almost every year?
Yes, it was a common occurrence because I had saved it on my cell phone and I had set reminders in my calendar to do it every year so that I would get a reminder and then automatically send the order through to the procurement department.
But you think you started sending these hampers and cards from around 2010,
That is correct.
not before?
It
or
is
maybe 1
possible.
year before, but
Yes,
not many years before.
It is possible that I sent it before, I
Can't
can't.
remember. Yes,
Yes, I can't substantiate that at this stage.
yes. Now, from the time, from 2010 or whatever the time is when you started, up to the time that Mr. Agrizzi left, or you left, I don't know who left first. Do you know whether you sent these every year to Ms. Mokonyane and to Ms. Thomas, or there may have been some years when you didn't send?
Yes, there may have been some years where I didn't send or forget,
Yes.
as in the instance with 2015,
Yes.
when Mr. Agrizzi contacted me and reminded me that I forgot.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
These hampers and these presents, who paid for this?
Sorry?
Who paid for these hampers and presents?
BOSASA did.
Now, I see there was an incident where you say you neglected to send the hampers to, you forgot to send hampers to Mrs. Thomas. Can you tell the commission about that?
Yes, it was towards, well, being the end of the month, I was rather busy at that stage with month-end reports, etc. And that is how it came about that I had forgotten and Mr. Agrizzi reminded me.
And then you send the hamper.
Correct.
Chair, that is the evidence of the witness. And
No, thanks. On page 87, Ms. Pieters, the card that was to be sent to Ms. Thomas was to read, "Dear Sandy, your thoughtfulness is most appreciated. God bless Angelo." Now, I know that, or maybe I shouldn't say I know. Who chose those words? Was it Mr. Agrizzi or yourself?
Mr. Agrizzi.
Do you by any chance know what the context was relating to him wanting to say to Ms. Thomas, your thoughtfulness is most appreciated? Do you understand if there had been some recent interaction between them in terms of which Mr. Agrizzi thought Ms. Thomas was somebody who was very thoughtful and so on? Do you happen to know that, or is that something you don't know?
He didn't tell me, it's
Yes.
obvious from the words that there was something done, but I
Something that
don't
had
know
happened,
what.
yeah. Okay, no, that's all right. Now, in terms of interactions between Ms. Thomas and Mr. Agrizzi, do you know whether there was a lot of interaction in terms of telephone calls to each other at work? I'm not talking about cell phones, but at work, using landline. Did they interact regularly, or as far as you know, or not?
A lot of people phoned Mr. Agrizzi directly on his phone.
But directly on his
Yes,
cell
yeah,
phone?
on his cell
Oh,
phone.
yes.
So not many calls came through on the office line.
On the landline,
Yes, so I
okay.
can't say how much.
Yes.
But I know he was inundated with calls from a lot of people.
Yeah, okay, all right. Would that apply also to any calls that may have happened between Mr. Agrizzi and Ms. Mokonyane? In other words, you don't know, because if there were any, they would have been to his cell phone and not the landline?
Yes, that would have been to his cell phone.
Yes. Does that also apply in terms of any interactions, or you wouldn't know any interactions between Ms. Thomas and Mr. Gavin Watson and Ms. Mokonyane and Mr. Gavin Watson? You would not know about those?
No, I would not know.
Yes. Okay. Do you know anything about any groceries that BOSASA may have bought and caused to be delivered to Ms. Mokonyane's house? Do you know anything about that Mr. Agrizzi may have been involved in?
No, that he would have dealt with Alistair Esau and the kitchen staff
Yes,
directly.
you would not have been
No,
involved
I
in that,
don't.
so you don't know anything about those?
I heard about things like that. There was
Yes,
a lot
but-
of talk in the street, yes. But
Yes, but you never got involved?
it's possible that I did get documents to sign. A lot of things came to me to print, and I had to
Yes,
give it to
yes.
Mr. Agrizzi to sign and then take it to the accounts department.
Yeah,
There was a lot. I did not take a mental
Yes.
note of everything.
Yes.
There was stuff that, yes, I had to have signed and taken.
yes, yes. So if you were involved in any way, it would have been a very limited involvement. You would not have been too involved in those things.
Yes.
Yes, okay, all right. Anything arising?
No, nothing, Chair.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Pieters, for coming to give evidence. You are now excused.
Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Chair, that is the witness from my side.
Yes, okay, no, that's
And
fine.
otherwise,
I will adjourn before we start with the next witness for the day.
thank you, Chair.
We adjourn.
Do you consider the oath to be binding on your conscience?
Yes?
Do you swear that the evidence will give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing else but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, you may proceed.
Chairman, Ms. Dhlamini has made two statements. The first statement is contained in a new bundle that we have prepared for you overnight, Chairman, which we have labeled Estina Bundle 01. And in Estina Bundle 01, you have Exhibit HH16, for H for happy. HH16, which contains the original affidavit submitted by Ms. Dhlamini. We ask that be admitted to the record as soon as she has confirmed the contents and that she deposed to it. The second exhibit, Chairman, is Exhibit HH16.1, which consists of the supplementary affidavit that we received yesterday with its annexures. The supplementary affidavit, because the annexures are rather voluminous, is split into two files, Chairman. So as and when it becomes necessary, I will indicate when we are dealing with Estina Bundle 01, which is the first file, which has both the original affidavit and the supplementary affidavit. And then I will also indicate when we are dealing with Estina Bundle 02, which really just has the remainder of the annexures to the supplementary affidavit. Ms. Dhlamini, I hope that I will be able to guide you through these documents. And if you don't understand where I'm taking you to, please, you'll indicate. Chairman, the other thing I would like to point out to you that in terms of the new numbering that has been introduced into the Commission's records, we have numbering on the left-hand side of Estina Bundle 01 and 02, which we trust aligns with the new system. So in Estina Bundle 01, the numbering on the black numbering runs from 01 through to page 415, Chairman. And then when we get to Exhibit HH16.1's annexures, which will be in Estina Bundle 02, again, that numbering, Chairman, will have the black numbering and the red numbering, but we'll try and stay with the black numbering. And that starts again from 01 through to the end. So each file has its own numbering, Chairman, but as we go along, I will indicate what we're using. I prefer to stay with the black numbering, Chair.
Yeah, I think let's do that.
It seems to make a little more sense.
Yeah.
I'm afraid the new area, I'm not used to this, it's rather crowded.
Yes.
So you'll bear with me, Chairman, as I was used to the other building.
Yes, no,
where we
that's
had
all
lots
right.
of space to move around.
Yes.
Ms. Dhlamini, can you please pick up Exhibit HH16, which is your first affidavit? You'll find it in Estina Bundle 01. I know that there are very many files behind you because there are reference files and related files, but I will take you through what we need, so don't worry too much about the number of files we have there. Chairman, before I forget, There are also our reference bundles that we have included a couple of additional documents to. I simply ask that the reference bundles as currently constituted be accepted and be admitted to the record.
Are those reference bundles that weren't admitted previously?
They were, Chairman.
Yeah.
We have simply, in fact, we have simply added 1 or 2 documents relating to the functions of a CFO to the last
Yeah.
bundle.
Yeah. Well, if they were admitted, they would remain admitted. If there are new documents that were not referred to, were not therefore part of what was admitted, those may have to be admitted separately and either be included in those bundles or put in separately, but you can apply your mind during the break and so on.
I shall do that, Chairman.
Yeah.
The one new bundle that you do have is a bundle we thought we should prepare just out of an abundance of caution, and we're calling it a transcripts bundle. There's certain evidence that was laid that refers to Ms. Dhlamini, so we've tried to extract just excerpts from those particular transcripts because they are rather voluminous.
Yeah.
We've put them in their own little file, which we are calling a extracts file, just
Yeah.
for your ease of reference, and so we didn't have to carry all our
Yes.
transcripts here.
Yeah.
So that
Yes.
will be a completely new file
Yes.
that we think is likely to be useful both today and as you
Yes.
proceed to deal with the Estina stream.
Yes, so that one, we might just have it as a reference bundle or as a bundle, but the idea might not be to admit the transcripts, I guess. It's just that it should be available for questioning and so on.
That's correct, Chairman.
Yeah, so we might just place on record that there is such a file. Yeah.
Thank you. So I place on record that we do have a file with
Yes.
transcripts from various witnesses
Yes.
that we have extracted and placed in that file so that we can show Ms. Dhlamini where we are getting the propositions we are
Yes.
putting to her from.
Do you have a name for it, like bundle what, or reference file what, or file what?
Chairman, it has been labeled Exhibit HH, Transcript Extracts. HH is the Vrede Dairy Farm.
Yes.
All the HH files are Vrede Dairy Farm.
Yes. Should we call it bundle HH, or what do you think? Because I say we don't intend that the contents be admitted as exhibits, just for convenience. What do you-
I'm very happy with that, Chairman.
Yeah, let's call it just bundle,
Bundle
HH. Yeah.
Transcripts.
Transcripts, extracts.
Extract.
Yeah. Yes, okay, all right.
Thank you, Chairman. Ms. Dhlamini, I'm back with you, and I really just want you to confirm that both affidavits that you've submitted are yours, that you deposed to them, when you deposed to them, etc. So I'll take you through this very slowly. If you turn to page, and we're using the black numbers on the left-hand side, ma'am. So if you page to page 3, I won't call it 003, I'll just call it, use the last number. So page 3, it is the first page of your affidavit that you submitted to the commission, which is dated the 17th of December. Is that your name that's reflected on that first page, page 3?
Yes, Chairperson.
Is this your affidavit, ma'am?
Yes, Chairperson.
You are familiar with the contents thereof?
Yes, Chairperson.
If you look at page 35 of that document, Ms. Dhlamini, there is a signature on that page. Is that your signature?
Yes, Chairperson, that's my signature.
And I note that the date that's written there just simply says the 17th day of December. Will you confirm that that would have been in 2019?
Yes, Chairperson, that would be 17th of December, 2019.
Thank you very much, ma'am. If we then look at the second statement that you submitted yesterday, that one you will find on page 42 of the same bundle. Again, that is your name on the page, on page 42. The black numbers.
Yes, Chairperson, that's my name.
If you then go to page 56,
Yes, Chairperson.
do you confirm that that is your signature?
Yes, Chairperson, that's my signature.
Do you confirm that you deposed to this and you're familiar with the contents of this affidavit?
Yes, Chair.
And that you included these annexures and you're familiar with the annexures that you've annexed here to?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you very much, ma'am. If I can just give you a short roadmap.
Do you want me to admit them?
If you would please, Chairman, my apologies. If you would admit exhibit.
The first one you wanted to be admitted and marked as exhibit what? The one at page 3, starting at page 3.
It's marked HH16, Chairman.
And the affidavit of Ms. Seipati Dhlamini appearing at page 3, or starting at page 3 of Estina bundle 01, is admitted and will be marked as exhibit HH16. And then the second one.
And then the second one is HH16.1, Chairman. And that's the one that starts at page 42.
The affidavit of Ms. Seipati Dhlamini, starting at page 42 of Estina bundle 01, is admitted and will be marked as exhibit HH 16.1.
Thank you, Chairman.
There is this other one that is separate. I don't want to deal with it now in terms of its admission, or will that come later?
Chairman, that is the original one that we got a
It was
while
admitted.
ago. That's the one we've admitted as HH16.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay. Or is that this?
So we simply put it in a bigger file, Chairman.
Oh,
But
it just
because you
looks-
had the original one, we just put it there in case you had
Oh, it looks
made
thin.
markings or questions.
Oh, okay, no, that's fine. It looked thinner, but okay.
It
all
was,
right.
we were very happy with it until we got the second one. Thank you,
Okay,
Chairman.
all right.
Ms. Dhlamini, just to give you a sense, and also the Chairman a sense of what we'll be dealing with today. You were the CFO, and we are really going to try and focus on your role as the CFO, your responsibilities as the CFO, and all relevant prescripts that you would have been aware of as the CFO. Other witnesses have come to give evidence on a range of matters relating to the dairy project. We are really going to endeavor to try and keep our focus in relation to your evidence on your role as you supported the head of department, Mr. Tabete. Are you happy with that?
I'm happy, Chair.
Can we start by finding out what your current occupation is.
Thanks, Chair. Chair, I'm currently working at the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs in the Free State Province. The position I hold is of a Deputy Director General, which the position's responsibility in the main is to provide support and intervention to the municipalities. And currently, I am acting as the CF. I've been seconded to Kopanun Local Municipality as the acting CFO.
Thank you. When did you actually join the Free State government? I think it was in 2007. Please assist us and just explain.
Yes, Chair, I joined the Free State government December 2007.
And what position did you hold there?
When I joined the Free State government, I joined it as the Chief Financial Officer, the CFO, for the Department of, then was Local Government and Housing.
Just pull the mic a little closer to you.
Sorry, Chair.
All right.
And who was the MEC of Housing and Local Government when you were there?
When I joined in 2007, the MEC was Mr. Mapereka.
And he was followed by?
Sorry, Chair.
And after him? While you were still there?
Can you repeat, Chair?
I ask only because I thought that Mr. Zwane was MEC of that department at the time that you were there.
Oh,
If I'm wrong, just correct me and give us the facts.
oh, okay, Chair. As I stated, in 2007, when I joined the department, the MEC was Mr. Mafereka. Mr. Zwane joined the department in 2009 after the election. When the new government came in, then Tate Mafereka did not come back, but the MEC then became Mr. Zwane. That was in 2009.
So you were serving in that department as the CFO,
I was serving in that department, Chair, as the CFO.
and Mr. Zwane was the MEC of that department.
Mr. Zwane was indeed the MEC for that department.
Thank you. I simply mention it because I know we'll come across Mr. Zwane again in a few minutes' time. So it's common cause that you were also the CFO of the Department of Agriculture and the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development.
Yes, Chair.
And that is where, again, Mr. Zwane would have come within your orbit. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Zwane then came, also found me in the Department of Agriculture in 2011. I joined the Department of, or I was transferred from the Department of Local Government and, by the time I get transferred, it was now the Department of Local Governance and Traditional Affairs and the Department of Human Settlement. Then I was transferred December 2010 to Agriculture. In 2011, Mr. Zwane was also appointed the MEC for that department, Agriculture and Rural Development.
So you arrived at Agriculture before Mr. Zwane arrived there?
I arrived before Mr. Zwane arrived.
Thank you. Very briefly, can you just tell the chairman what your qualifications are? You're a CFO. What are the qualifications that you hold?
I qualified in a BCom degree. My major subjects are accounting and management accounting. I further studied but could not complete with the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, which is in the UK. I also studied at the Queen's University in Canada, and I did a course which is equivalent to Masters in Investment Appraisal. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So you are very qualified, quite frankly.
Yes, in terms of the requirement of the post of Chief Financial Officer, I'm properly qualified.
And you have vast experience because of your service in this particular role.
Yes, I have vast experience in the service because I joined the government in 1996 and worked for the Provincial Treasury of Free State. In 2007, I became the CFO in the Northern Cape Department of Treasury, and I moved then from the same year. I stayed only from March up to December. December, I joined the Free State government in local government and housing as the CFO. So my role as the CFO started in 2007.
So one can safely say that when it comes to understanding the legal framework that regulates and governs anything to do with procurement, you would know everything you need to know about that.
Yes, Chair.
Can I just ask you one question, just as an aside really? The Premier of the Free State in the period that we are really interested in, which is 2011 to 2015, or 2010 to 2015, was Mr. Mahashule.
Yes, it was Mr. Mahashule.
Did you work in his office at any point in time?
No, Chair.
Thank you. You were an executive within the management committee of DARD, DARD being the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development.
Yes, I served as a CFO. I served in the executive management of that department.
And I just want to make it clear for the record that where we are at some point going to refer to EXCO, that reference will really be to the Provincial Legislature Executive Committee. These are two totally different structures.
Yes, it's a total different structure, Chair, but I'm not sure if, Chair, you want to refer to EXCO as for the legislature or EXCO as the structure that is consisted of the Premier and the MECs, all the MECs. Because that is then different from the legislature.
For our purposes, and just for clarity, Ms. Dhlamini, we are really referring to the first, where it's the provincial legislature, because we're going to be talking about the resolution that Cabinet signed, the EXCO resolution that dealt with FRIEDA. And that really is our interest in making sure that on record, there's no confusion between our reference to EXCO when we're talking about the provincial legislature headed by the Premier, and your executive management committee within the department, which would have been headed by Mr. Tabete as the head of department.
I think there may be confusion there. As I understand the position, unless you said one thing when in your mind you had something else in mind. There is the Executive Council of the province. The Executive Council of the province is led or chaired by the Premier, and the other members of that council are the MECs. Those are the only members of the Executive Council. So some people might call it EXCO, I don't know, but constitutionally, that's the Executive Council of the province. That's like the cabinet of the province. And then there is the provincial legislature. Now, I don't know whether the provincial legislature would have its own EXCO, but I doubt that it would involve the Premier or any MEC.
Chairman, in context, the relevance of this is related to the EXCO minute that authorized the implementation of the FRIEDA dairy project. And that was a cabinet discussion.
That's the Executive Council.
So that would be the Executive Council of the province.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
really all I was trying to clear up.
Also, when you refer to EXCO, that's the structure you are referring to.
That's what we will be referring to. So I just didn't want there to be confusion.
Yes, no. That's important. So I know also when you say EXCO in this context, you are referring to the Provincial Executive Council.
And thank you for assisting in clearing up those
Yes,
two
yes, okay. so
structures.
that's fine.
Thank you, Chairman. Again, I'm really just probing your competency, your experience, etc. at this point, Mrs. Dhlamini. You were also a member of the Chief Financial Officers Forum, which was convened and coordinated by the Provincial Accountant General. Is that not correct?
That's correct, Chair.
Now, this is a forum that would have facilitated the work that you did as CFOs, all of you as CFOs. Am I right?
That's correct, Chair.
And it also allowed you to ask and debate operational questions and issues that concerned you. You could debate them at this forum.
That's correct, Chair.
You were also able to have direct access at this forum to the Provincial Accountant General, especially where that person may have queried certain non-compliance by a department, for instance, your department.
That's correct, Chair.
Again, I'm just putting on record what we understand you to have been familiar with at the time. I am correct in saying you were not a member of the Provincial Treasury Committee, were you?
Can you repeat, Chair?
You were not a member of the Provincial Treasury Committee, which would have been part of the Provincial Treasury.
I was not, Chair.
Would you be invited to meetings of the Provincial Treasury Committee?
Yes, you would be invited at some point, only when they deal with budget matters. When you are invited to come, and basically it would be the department that is invited to come and present the budget of the department to the committee. So I would go there as the CFO together with the HOD and other program managers in the department.
That's how I understand it.
Yes, Chair.
And